Hey everybody, it's Dina Rico with the Creativity Cave, and I have to say I'm so happy to be stamping with you tonight because I am in the middle of moving HE double hockey sticks, for sure. Oh my gosh, today we had a realtor come to our house and tell us that we basically need to move out before we put it on the market, so that's going to be super fun. And I have to say I was really stressed out, and I'm thinking that stamping was definitely going to be my saving grace today, and it sure was, because look at these two cards I came up with. I love this card. It is so simple, it's elegant, it's classy, it's easy, it's just wonderful. And then I used the same idea where I had die cuts above and beyond in a strip, above and below, and then a strip going across. I did the same thing here, but I changed it up, and instead of die cuts, I did a little punching and a little stamping, and I basically have the same layout, but it's just a different look. So I'm going to show you how to make both of these cards. I'm really excited because I think they're awesome, and I think you're going to like them too, and they highlight some of my favorite new products in our new catalog. So we're going to start with the classy fancy one, because everybody can be classy and fancy. Even though after today and getting ready to move, I don't feel very classy, nor do I feel very fancy. But hopefully by the end of all this, I will feel both, and people will just be pounding down my door to buy my house, right? Like, fingers crossed. Say a prayer for me. Okay, so I'm starting out using the stamp set Kindness and Compassion, and I love this set. It's so beautiful, but the words that are included in this set are just wonderful. They're so perfect, I guess, for lack of a better description. And I really like, I put our sincere condolences for the outside, and then sending comforting hugs and healing prayers. So sorry for your loss on the inside. And I think that's really nice. So let me show you how easy it is to put this together, because like I said, it really is easy. I'm also featuring, besides this stamp set, one of my new favorite products, which is the Delicate Lace Edgelets. And when I first saw these, I wasn't really actually sure what I thought of them. I'll show you. It comes with 3 pieces, and so you've got the border that we used on our card here. We have this kind of scallopy thing, and then we've got this sort of pinking type edgelet. And what I really love about this is that the pieces just literally fall out like confetti. I didn't even use my die brush on either of these 2 pieces, so I love that. I was really kind of worried about it because it is so intricate, but man, it is totally surpassing my expectations. All right, I'm going to start with a black card base, and of course I've got a white layer for the inside, and I'm going to take my outside piece, which will just go right here. I don't actually stamp on it. Like I said, I've die cut 2 of these little strips, and I'm going to adhere them to the back side of this piece. I need to cut this. This was just a scrap that I found in my drawer, which is kind of my favorite way to create cards, is just using the scraps that I already have cut. I've got a little drawer full of scraps for my white, and then I've got a drawer for my regals, my neutrals, my brights, and my settles. So they're all organized, or at least sort of. Although now that they changed the color families around, I still do need to do a little bit of arranging. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece and we'll adhere this to the back side, but I'm going to stamp first to make sure I get a good stamped impression. Okay, so I'm going to stamp our sincere condolences. I'm using Archival Black, which is not current. I'm waiting. I ordered my black stays on pad, and I think it'll be here tomorrow. So I apologize for that. Now I'm going to stamp this up just a touch so that I have room for some ribbon underneath. And look at this fancy font. I mean, this just oozes class. Like, someone who's going to get this card from you is going to say, wow, that person just cared to send the very best. And then when they find out you made this card, they will be like over the top impressed with your stamping abilities. And, you know, this craft that you have, this little hobby, is actually pretty classy. Okay, I love it. So I'm going to put this down. Now I just ran some adhesive along the top or bottom edge. You could use glue, liquid glue, which is kind of my new thing, or whatever your favorite is. Okay, so there we go. And by the way, this would work really well on your silicone mat so that you don't adhere anything to somewhere you don't want it to be. Ask me how I know. I may have adhered a thing or two in my day to something I didn't want. Okay, so now I'm just going to line the bottom edge up. Same thing. And there we go. That looks good. I'll just trim off these ends so that they don't stick out. And we are well on our way to a super classy card, which I'm totally digging. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back before I adhere them to my card base. Okay, and you can see I don't actually totally have these on straight, but that's okay. No one will know. Like, the reason I know that is like I can see a little bit of white peeking out here, but not here. So same thing here, but not here. But it doesn't, you can't really even tell, which is kind of what I love about this. And then when we add the ribbon, you'll definitely not be able to tell. Okay, so I've got that on our card base like so. Get rid of this. And then I'm going to adhere some black shimmer ribbon. We also have a new slightly wider ribbon that would work nicely too. It's just, I think it's called black satin ribbon. It's just a little wider, but I kind of like the shimmer in this because, again, I thought it looked fancy. And we wanted a nice fancy card for our sincere condolences. All right, I'm just tying this ribbon right on like so. Nice and tight. And then I'll trim those edges just a hair, and then we'll mount this to our card. Just trying to make sure it's centered. There we are. Okay. So we are going to just put some adhesive on the back, and that's it. Now the only other thing I'm going to do is stamp the inside of my sentiment, my card, on another piece. This is 4 by 5 1/4, just like the other one I stamped on. So we'll stamp this, make sure it's straight and facing the right orientation. Have you ever stamped something upside down? That just drives me nuts. Oh my gosh, especially if like the card is already adhered together and you're like, what? Especially if it's the last thing you do, right? Okay, so there's our card. So gorgeous. Isn't this beautiful? And how easy was that? 2 die cut strips, a strip of cardstock that you probably already have, and some white and black. Very fancy. Of course, you could do this in any color combination. I just like the black and white and how classy it is. Okay, I also think this would make a gorgeous wedding invitation. I'm just saying. All right, next, let's do kind of a fun, bright, happy card. Same idea though. We're just going to stamp something in the background and put a strip across with our sentiment. Now in this case, I'm using 2 stamp sets. I've got the bundle Pop of Petals, which comes with a punch that punches all of these images out. You can see this gorgeous little branchy, viney thing. And then I'm also using Another Wonderful Year. This is a nice set. It's got lots of stamps in it. It actually comes in 2 cases. I combined mine into one, but you can see there's great sentiments that kind of go across like this. And then there's also some, you know, shorter, not as long ones. So, okay. So let me show you this card. Again, super easy. I'm going to start with a Melon Mambo card base, and I'm using, I pretty much have to admit, my very favorite new color, and that is Mango Melody. And then I've combined that with some Granny Apple Green and a little Melon Mambo. All right, so aren't these just happy colors? All right, I will take and stamp my little flower image, and what I love is we're going to punch this out. So whenever I punch, I just want to kind of make sure that I have my stamp oriented right. And I want the flower that kind of curves up there. Now I'm going to use this piece of cardstock right here. I'm going to stamp 1, 2. Okay, then I'll take that punch and just punch it out. And look at how easy it is to line that up and punch. Oh, happy day. I love flower stamps and punches. They make me happy. All right, so I've got those two. Now I need two more. This time I'm going to grab my scrap of Melon Mambo and do the same thing. I'm going to clean this off quickly with my Stampin' Chamois. This is just in a clear case with some water in it, and it cleans like a dream. This has to be one of my other favorite accessories. I'll put all the details for all of this stuff, the colors I've used, the stamp sets, the chamois, all of this good stuff in my blog post, and there will be a link to that blog post in the description of this video so you can check it out. But there we go. So fun. And just like before, we'll punch this out. And then I'll show you a little trick I do with my flowers just to kind of make them fun. All right, I'm going to take each petal and just kind of wiggle it. I'm not doing anything more than that, but that gives them dimension, and then they're not flat. They're fancy, because you know I'm all about fancy tonight. Don't I seem fancy to you? I'm kidding. I think fancy is not a word I would use to describe myself. Laid back and normal. I'm laughing as we're looking for a new house for when we move. I've been looking at these houses, and some of them have formal dining rooms, and I'm like, I wonder if that could be like just a stamping area or what we can do with that, because we don't need a formal dining room. What would we do? Okay. So I will take my piece of paper, and I've got a little strip. This is also left over from trimming cardstock. I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Again, that is from my Another Wonderful Year. I'm still memorizing some of these stamp set names. And I'm going to stamp in Granny Apple Green that leafy image. I love this leafy image, and I love the way it curls. So I'm just going to kind of stamp one right there. Flip it around and stamp another right here. And then where these kind of crisscross, we'll cover that up with the flowers and the sentiment. So really simple stamping. I've also got my friendly hello, just a friendly hello that I'm going to stamp on this little strip in Melon Mambo ink. See how straight I got it? Not bad. Sometimes I impress myself. Okay, now the other thing that I'm using on these is probably my favorite new accessory in the catalog, and that is these glitter dots. They are so awesome and so happy. Oh my gosh. I mean, they really are. There's no way around it. They're just super happy. Okay. So they come with these three colors plus Gorgeous Grape, which is the darker shade of purple. I just used all of them on a swap card that I made, so I'm out. But I think these are so fun, and look at the glitter and shimmer and happy in these little dots. So let's put the rest of this together. I am not putting any dimension on these besides the little wiggling I did of the cardstock, because I want to make sure that they are going to not get too tall on my card. Then I just kind of am positioning them like so. And I'm going to take my sentiment and pop that up over the top with some dimensionals on either end of this. Okay, so I'll pull my sheet of dimensionals. I'm going to put one on the very end of each part of this, and then adhere it to my card. Now I'm specifically positioning this, and in retrospect, I should have done this other part first, but that's okay. I'm specifically positioning them so I can put a little glimmer dot in the center of both of these flowers, and it will show. So that's kind of how I positioned my flowers. So you might want to line them up before you adhere them just to ensure that they'll show through. Because I want just a little touch of sparkle to show right on through. Isn't that fun? All right. And then that piece that I did my stamping on is actually going to be my layer of my cardstock. So that's a little paper conservation for you. I don't have a lot of scraps of these new colors yet because I'm still just kind of working on them for the first little bit. And I haven't produced very many scraps yet. So sooner than later, I'm sure I will have plenty. All right. So I'm just going to adhere that to that, and we are done. How easy. 2 cards, 15 minutes. You rock. See you guys.